Hey everyone, Kevin here. If you have watched any of my videos over the last week, you probably know by now that I have not one, but, dramatic pause, two 1080 Ti's. I've got two ASUS Strix overclocked edition 1080 Ti's. Now, these things aren't cheap. They cost over, they're about £750 or so. In fact, one of them was even more than that, per card. So, a few people were asking about why I did that. And that's what I want to talk about in this video. I want to explain why I did it. So firstly, I'll just show you the graphics cards. They're there in all their glory. They're not actually doing much just now. They're just sitting there flashing lights and looking all pretty. GPU 0 and 1 according to Task Manager, or 1 and 2 if you go by conventional numbering systems. Okay, so why did I buy two graphics cards? A few people asked about SLI. Andre was talking about it as well and said that these it's not recommended to use SLI. For those of you who don't know what SLI is, NVIDIA have got a bridge system called SLI. AMD have got one called Crossfire, and it allows you to connect multiple GPUs. And the idea behind SLI, well, certainly in the past, is, for example, in the past, if you had two 980 Ti's, they performed really well together and they gave you much more power for your games. Maybe in a particular game you were getting 100 frames per second. Bridge two of them together, it's more money, but you do then go to 140 frames per second. That is the idea behind them. Now, the 1080 Ti kind of stopped that a little bit because as far as gaming goes, a lot of people were doing tests and they found that with two 1080 Ti's and an SLI bridge, you're only really getting a very small performance gain, if I can talk, if at all. So for example, you could have been at 100 frames per second, you put two 1080 Ti's, you might have went to 105 frames per second or 110. In fact, in some games, you actually dropped frames. So, you actually got better performance running one graphics card than running two together. And when you're talking about, buying a second 750 or, 800, 900 pounds or dollars or euros card, well, then it kind of defeats the point of doing it. There are some games that actually do utilize SLI and do give you a really good performance gain. But across the board, that isn't as common as it was. Because developers aren't supporting them as much. But that's not why I bought it. I explained this in the commentary the other day. I didn't buy this for SLI. I bought this for a few reasons, but really flexibility. From a recording, a YouTubing point of view, and from a gaming point of view, I needed at least one graphics card. And I opted for the 1080 Ti because it allows me to game at decent, resolutions and graphic levels, high settings, high presets, but also allows me to do other things at the same time. But buying two gives me a lot more options. Number one, it means I can set one GPU to the game, and the second one can power my display, it can power the recording, my webcam, the second cam that you just saw. All these things rely on the GPU to power, and if I'm doing game streaming and recording and I'm doing all these things and it's all going through the same graphics card as the the same GPU that's powering the game, well, you start to see frames going down and things like that. So it gives me a little bit more flexibility in that regard, and it means I don't have to drop the resolution. Second reason is because I will be doing mining. I will be doing GPU mining to recover some of the costs of these expensive cards. So if I load up, if I can get it here, if I show you the Task Manager just now, boom, there you go. You should hopefully be able to see that, not too small. I've got GPU 0 at 16%, not really using a lot. GPU 1, that's sitting there, twiddling its thumbs, doing nothing. So they're not doing anything just now, but the reason I've got it like this just now is because I'm recording. When the GPU goes really high, when the CPU load goes really high, anyone who records will tell you things start going funny, frames start skipping. So I tried to keep things as low as possible. And this is the thing with two GPUs, I have a lot more flexibility. If I'm recording a game that doesn't require a lot of power, I can record and I can game in the one GPU, and the second one I can mine. When I'm not at the computer, I can mine with both GPUs. In other situations, a powerful game, I might play the game in one GPU and record and do everything else in the second GPU. And that's really why I bought it. Mining was one option, recording was another. One reason, sorry. Mining was a reason, gaming was a reason, and recording was a reason. And I will recoup the costs of this through mining. So if I I'll leave the task manager up just now. What I'll do is I'll show you an example of mining. This is NiceHash. This is the, the kind of one of the easiest way to mine, and you get paid in Bitcoin. So you sell hash rates and you get paid in Bitcoin. And the simple thing about this, the really good thing about this, is that you can enable and disable any part of your software very, very easily. When I'm not using my computer, I can enable the CPU and both GPUs. I love the fact that this is idiot friendly. You can see here that the GPU 1 here, what they're calling number 1, but obviously in my task manager I've got 0 and 1. GPU 1 is the one that's got the monitor, so that'll be GPU 0 over there. So right now I've got none of them running, but as I said, if I ran both of these GPUs at the same time, the recording that I'm making right now through this webcam might go a little bit funny. But if I leave GPU 2, well, then I can start mining. So it will start mining now, and this is what I'm getting from a value point of view, from a money point of income point of view, from one card. This is only one card. By and large, for 2 cards, double whatever you're going to see here. So you can see, I'm getting about £7. This goes up and down during the day. It can go right down to like 1 or 2. It can go really high up to like 10, 15. It really does depend on the rates of the day, the calculations. There's a lot of factors to consider. But the good thing is, I've set up the graphics card while I'm trying to set it up where I'm overclocking it but undervolting it, so it doesn't use as much power, and the fans stay quiet. Right now they're super quiet and they're still managing to mine. Now, I don't know why, it's kind of weird. I don't know why, but it's mining right now, and I don't know if you can see in the task manager, still at 0%, still at 16% there. I don't know if there's something wrong with the task manager and reporting. I don't know what's going on there. Sometimes you see it going up and they're like 50, 60%. Doesn't seem to be using a lot. So I might have to tweak my settings to make sure that I'm using a lot of power and things like that. I'll stop that just now. And if I can change this over, I'll show you something else. I've got it. So this is another option. This is called Awesome Miner. I've only got the free version just now, and it's a larger window. I'll try and bring that down. This is the free version. I'm probably going to opt for the premium version in a while. There is a way, I can't really show it here. I can maybe turn it on briefly. I'm conscious of the fact that I don't want to hurt the recording. But this, basically, I can mine in NiceHash, but I can mine in pretty much any other mining pool that I want, and this software handles it. Gives you cool stats that you don't get in NiceHash Miner. So I'm going to just start it and then stop it. The reason being that by default this runs both GPUs, and I don't want to do that right now because I'm using one to record. But if I just quickly start that, it's going to come up the mining interface, and then it'll probably go to Mining Pool Hub. Yep. I'll do a different video. I'll do a separate video about all this, explaining a lot of this stuff, guys. I'm really just trying to explain the multiple GPU situation in this video, but I will talk about all this in another video if you guys wish. So this is going to use, there you go, both GPUs. And if I click on it, I can't talk, click on it, you can see both GPUs down here. And my task manager, that's one of them's up to 100%, and this is the one I'm recording at. So stop this, but you can look at that. Total per day, £16.27. So I'm going to stop that before the recording goes funny. There is a very, there's a small chance that when I'm recording with this, things go a little bit screwy when you've got the GPU that's, handling the webcam and all that. When that's at 100%, things can go a little bit screwy. But the good thing about that is it allows you to see the performance of both GPUs, GPU 0, GPU 1, and over time it shows you which one is doing better, and it helps you tweak your settings and all that. So I don't want to talk about that too much in this video. I just wanted to touch upon why I'm using 2 GPUs. So yes, to go over it again, one reason I bought a second one is for improved gaming, that I can game in one, mine in the other. I can do gaming and streaming in the other. I can do mining on both, or I can do video rendering in one. So if I'm encoding a video for YouTube, say for example I'm encoding this video and I'm going to upload it to YouTube, I can render it and then I can play a game using the other GPU. And the fact that if I leave my computers on a lot, over time I'll make money and I'll pay for these expensive cards which ironically are expensive because of mining. So yeah, that's it, guys. I thought I would do an explanation as to why I bought this, my reasoning behind this, to, you know, highlight the fact that I'm not insane and there was practical reasons for me to buy a second GPU. As someone who's a YouTuber, as someone who's hoping to play more games, I realize I've not done it yet because I've been so busy with all the hardware stuff, but I'm hoping to play more games. I'm hoping to record more. I'm hoping to do more live streams, and having 2 GPUs gives me a lot more flexibility for that. And the fact that I'm mining means that these cards can be paid back. So they will reach a point where, you know, I've paid them back and then I've got 2 GPUs, and it's, you know, it gives me a lot of flexibility recording, gaming, and mining. So there you have it, guys. That's the lowdown on the situation. Thanks for all your questions about this, though, guys. I really do appreciate it. And thanks for everyone who took part in yesterday's live feed. I will do another live feed this week. But I hope you're all doing great. Please do leave a comment, and I'll speak to you all very soon. Cheers, guys.